Hi, I'm Alex, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make your own sculpture of a hare using wire armature and paper mache. And we're going to take you through the steps of making your own wire armature, padding it out using paper, applying paper mache, and finally painting with acrylic. All the things that I'm using in this video will be in the description below. I hope you enjoy this video. For making the sculpture, you're going to need some newspaper for the paper mache, some PVA glue to make paper mache, some masking tape to help bind the newspaper to the armature, some 0.8mm wire, I'm using brass wire here, a long nose and short nose plier. So here I have got my drawing of a hare, and I've outlined where the armature would go in orange, and that is going to help me make the armature to the scale and size that I want. So this is the first stage of the process, making the wire armature. I'm cutting 3 lengths of the same size. And now I'm plaiting them or braiding them together to make a stronger reinforced length of wire. Now I'm using my drawing to measure the length and bend it in the right places to start creating a form. Now I'm creating the other leg of the hare using the same method of plaiting the wire. I'm clamping down with my short nose plier and then placing one strand of the other, trying to maintain tension by securing one end of the wire to make a thinner braid. Once I've checked my structure against the drawing, this will help me know where to attach the leg. Now I'm going to join up the head using the same reinforced method of plaiting or braiding the wire. Make sure you always cut off slightly more than you need to allow for joining. Here you can see I've attached the wire around the nose and the neck of the armature. Now I'm making the underside of the body. Braid 3 strands again. I'm attaching this to the neck and to one of the legs. Use your pliers to carefully bend around every strand for a secure hold. Keep checking your wire armature with your drawing to ensure that it is accurate. Now I'm making the front legs using one long piece, which I'm winding around the spine of the hare armature to secure. This will give me 2 front legs from one long piece of wire. Make sure both of your front legs are the same size and cut off any excess. Now I'm reinforcing the other back leg, which will also help me position it. To give the armature more depth, I'm creating circles and attaching them to suggest the roundness and width of the hare's head and body. I'm just using single strands of the 0.8mm wire to do this. I'm attaching each circle at the top and bottom of where it touches the armature. Try to keep the circles equal on both sides to create an accurate form with more balance. Now I'm creating the ears using single lengths of 0.8mm wire, attaching one at a time to the same part of the head. This will give more structure and stability to the ears when you come to apply the paper. So now you can see the completed wire armature. It is still looking a little flimsy just now, but the next stage will add more structure and stability. I have used 5 circles of wire to describe the form, which is sufficient for this scale of armature. It's looking pretty good. So now, stage 2, where I'll be bulking the form out using newspaper. Start by stuffing the body and head of the armature in between where you've made the circles. Wrap all the limbs with strips of newspaper winding it round and around and secure it with masking tape. Once you've stuffed the cavity of the body, you can start taping the newspaper over the armature. I have gone over the legs a couple of times to make them thicker and stronger. Whilst bulking out, I kept looking at images of hares to ensure I was depicting and sculpting its muscles and form accurately. Here I'm creating the look of the bent hind legs. I keep checking that my sculpture stands and that analyse the balance, whether I need to add more paper to a certain side. Now I'm bulking out the head with folded bits of paper placed over the armature. I have added a snout, and I'm also giving it a thicker breast and neck. So now I've completed bulking out the form. I've used folded bits of paper around the ears to create more form of the lobes. I've created the eyes and snout using bits of tin foil. So now I'm ready for stage 3, which is making the paper mache. For this you're going to need some torn shreds of paper, some PVA glue, some water and a container to mix it in. So now I'm going to use the PVA glue and put in a large amount. Now pour the water, and you want about 2 centimeters above the line of the PVA glue. This will give you a strong consistency for your paste. Next, mix thoroughly with your finger or spatula. So this is what it should look like. To make the paper mache, make sure the whole strand of newspaper is coated in paste. Then run your fingers down the newspaper to get rid of any excess liquid. Then you're ready to paste smoothly onto your form. Make sure all the strips of paper mache overlap, as their sticking together will make a strong bond to your form. Cover the entire form, smoothing down the edges as you go. So here I've done 2 layers of the paper mache and I've now let it dry completely. Now I will create the final layers of paper mache using good quality tissue paper, or you could use kitchen towel as well. This will give me a smoother finish to my sculpture, ready for painting. So this is what it looks like now. I've applied 2 layers of tissue paper and I've allowed it to dry completely again. Now I'm ready for stage 4, which is painting and finishing my hair sculpture. Firstly, I'm going to paint my hair in white to prime it and make the tissue paper less absorbent. Now I'm ready to add colour to the form. I'm using ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow and cadmium red acrylic to mix a red-brown and a lighter cream brown for the body and underside of the hair. Whilst both paints are still wet, I'm blending a bit of brown into the cream colour to make it a smooth transition in colour between the body and underside of the hair. This will create a more natural finish. This is the first layer of colour. Now I'm going to mix a different colour of dark brown using more red and blue in the mix. So that's a layer of brown. And now I'm going to apply grey using mostly blue in the mix of paint. Building up the colours like this will make the fur appear more realistic. I'm using white with my grey to apply more varying shades of grey. Notice that this layer is dappled, and you can see the last 2 layers of paint still showing through. Now I'm mixing a light yellowy cream colour with a touch of blue to darken it, and a rich brown with lots of red and blue included. With the yellowy cream colour, I'm applying the light markings around the face of the hare. I recommend looking at images of hares if you're making one to record the markings more accurately. I'm layering flecks of dark brown on top to make it look more natural, like flecks of colour in hair. Here I'm just dabbing the colour on to create a ground of general colour. I'm painting the eyes a background orange and then applying a dark brown ring around the eyes. Wait until the eyes have completely dried before adding dark brown for the pupil of the eye to avoid smudging. Now I have a general base colour for the fur. I'm applying individual hairs using a fan brush. I'm picking up the colour with the fan brush, dabbing it on the paper towel, and then applying the paint with a relatively dry brush. This is called dry brush technique and is applying fine streaks of colour to the body like individual hairs. If you don't have a fan brush, you could cut up an old brush with scissors to create gaps in it. Here I'm painting the eyes. Wait for each layer of paint on the eyes to dry so you don't smudge them. I'm using a pale yellow for a highlight on the orange part of the eyes. I'm using more dry brush technique to add lighter and darker hairs to the face of the hare. This is not the only way to decorate a hare. You can also use decoupage, much like adding paper mache. And here you have it, the finished piece. I have applied a bright white dot for a reflection in the pupil. I hope you found this video inspiring and that it's given you the knowledge you need to make your own paper mache animal sculpture using wire and paper mache techniques. Thank you so much for watching.